Sales associates, your splits can be anyway, however you guys negotiate. They have 100% commission, they have desk fees, they have 50-50 splits, all kinds of stuff. So it's just going to be incumbent upon you to deal with a managing broker when you first negotiate going in. I would suggest you go talk to several different people and have them explain their system. They can have graduated programs. You know, for the first so many deals, you get this, then it goes this. It can be anything in the world that they come up with. They can have flat fee. There's a couple people out there that charge their agents a flat fee. So for every deal, you only pay X number to the broker, you keep the rest. Now realize you guys aren't going to get that coming out of the gate because you are going to be what they call high touch agents. You know, high touch means I get high pay. The less I have to deal with one of you, the higher your pay is going to be. So when you first start, you're going to be in that 50, 60, 70% commission split that you get as opposed to any of those higher stuff. And as you get better, you move up.
I have a question.
Of course you do. What's the question?
When a company has like a cap, is that a cap on
It's at a cap.
you make or
No. Question is when they have a cap. The cap is usually a trigger term to change your percentage. So for instance, you might be 50-50 until you pay my office 20 grand. Once you pay me 20 grand, then we'll switch your commission to 90-10.
So it's not once you've made 20,000 in commission.
No, it's once you made the office 20 grand. When they say, hey, you got a $15,000 cap on the office, that means my half. In this particular last scenario where I made 750, that's only 750 towards your 15,000 for somebody that uses a cap system. Yeah, it's a way to look at getting a raise.
So it's just an incentive to get you to
Do more. It's an incentive to get you to do more deals. Because if you do 8 deals, you're not reaching your cap. But that 10th, 11th, and 12th deal, you now may be making 95% of the commission. You're going to be a little more motivated to try and get in that. So a cap is instilled typically, one, from a management side. I know how much it costs to run my office, and if it costs 150 grand at $15,000 cap, I need 10 of you. That tells me how many agents I need to recruit, all right? But it also works for you so that you know, hey, if I can get 2 more listings this year, I'm going to make 90% on these deals or 95, all right? So now, most caps, though, reset.
per year.
It's per year. So you come in, and today's your cap. We're going to start tomorrow. You got to start all over paying me $15,000 again,
So
all right?
this is what I was trying to ask earlier was that, so can you revisit that split anytime through the year?
You can always revisit that, but good luck.
I'm saying like if they realize like you've been there
Is it something
6
you
months
have to
and you're doing a great job that they want to change, they can change it at any point.
Well,
If they,
okay. A contract between 2 people legally can be changed at any time as long as both parties agree.
That's it.
So if you come to me and you go, look, I've done 19 deals at 50-50. I think I'm really pretty good. I want to change, even though it's only been 8 months. I want to change. And if you don't change, I'm going to go over to that other company where they're going to give me that. Okay, then let's visit that. Yes. No, there's. Now, what you get's the other issue is where the guy, we had 2 sets of deals when I was Century 21, and you could opt for either one. I gave you choice A or choice B. Choice A was 50-50 split, no fees. No desk fees, no electric fee. I carried everything. The other one was a 95-5 split, but you paid me $1,000 a month like a rental bill. All right? If you're doing 8 or 10 deals a month,
95% of nothing is still nothing.
that's why most people opted for 50-50. All right? But as you got better, you could say, I want to opt for that one. All right? We had a guy that didn't do anything for 3 months. Closed his first deal, was a commercial, was like $27,000 was his commission. When I gave him his 50%, he's like, dude, I think this is wrong. Can I go back and redo mine to the 95.5 and pay you the $3 grand? No. because I carried you those 3 months. It was all about cash flow. My kids didn't eat because I had to pay the bills that you weren't covering. So for the rest of this month or the rest of this year, you're still on 50-50. So yeah, you can ask and visit it, but most brokers are going to have a problem. You know, if you can literally go in and say, I've closed 10 in 10 months, I want to change my contract now or something, they might.
I know you have the 2 year, you have to be an apprentice, but how fluid is that mobile?
Not at all.
No, I'm saying within the agencies, you know, within the brokerage, managing brokers. So if I agree to sign with somebody, Keller, and then I went.
Now, the 2-year requirement is at the state level. So you could do 8 months with me, leave me and go to Keller Williams for 14 months, and then leave and do the last 2 months at Snyder Strategies. They're going to say that's 2 years. It's just 2 years of active license. It's also active. We're going to get into that whole thing. So you got to be active. You can't be in referral. You can't be in unassigned. You actually have to be actively doing real estate for 2 years. Okay? So the commission, they have 100% plans. You can get 100%, but you're going to pay something to be there. It just depends on how good you feel you are. Like she said, 100% of nothing is nothing. Most beginning agents want to do a 50-50 split with no fees. That's very common. Now, there are some what we used to call limited service companies, all right? 15 years ago, 20 years ago, they kind of got smart and they realized that real estate is a bundled services provider. We do many different things. So this one company called Home Yeah, which isn't even in business anymore, said, you know what? We can unbundle some of our services. You guys remember when they unbundled, Judge Green unbundled AT&T, and then all of a sudden you had to buy your phone system. Then if you wanted caller ID, it was another $2, and if you wanted call forwarding, it was this $3, and you could pick what you wanted. That came from the unbundling of AT&T. It's like a cafeteria plan. You guys know what a cafeteria plan is. Your health provider. Okay, I want health and I want hearing, but I don't want the dental or I don't want the vision. So they unbundled it and you could pick what you want. Real estate companies were full service companies where they just did everything and they charged a commission. Well, in the infinite wisdom of some people, they started asking for, I don't want you to do everything, but for that I want a reduced rate on the commission. So they created what they called these limited service companies. They limited service. So for example, Home Yeah, they would list and put you on the MLS, but they didn't do open houses. That was the service. So if you never wanted one, why were you paying 7% or 6% when they're not going to, they'd say, oh, we'll do it at 5, but you don't get this. All right? So they created these limited service companies. There was Sell for Free, Assist to Sell, Home Yeah. There was a whole bunch of them that came out when this started. And what they said was, we'll reduce your cost to sell the house by unbundling the service, and here's what we'll do for you. We'll put you in the MLS, but we won't do this. You know, we won't help you with this, but we will with this. And they created these limited service companies. Well, then what happened was Home Yeah got into a issue where this guy said, wait a minute, I signed an agency agreement with you. You were my agent and you let me down. Even though you told me you weren't going to do that, the definition of agency says you should have done that. And he ended up suing Home Yeah. Well, it became a big lawsuit and other people joined and it became a class action and Home Yeah ended up getting sued for like $100 million. That's why they're gone and you've probably never heard of them. So what the NAR came up and did and said, you know, he was right. As an agent, there are certain things you have to do. So they have created this thing called a minimum level of services that you are supposed to do. All right? And if you have a minimum level of services act, Indiana falls under this. We use this. It says, as a minimum, you have to be able to accept offers and present offers for your client and counter offers and things like that. So in other words, you have to be the middleman, which is exactly what our job is supposed to be anyway, is to insulate buyers and sellers from each other. That's one of the second thing is you have to give them advice. You have to give them insight and strategy and help them develop and negotiate these offers. And the third thing is I have to be available for questions. I can't just put them on the MLS and walk away. They have to be able to call me and go, hey, I got a question about this listing, and you have to answer them. At a minimum, that's what you have to do. Now, maybe you don't have an open house. That's not one of the requirements. You know, maybe you don't give them names of home inspectors to help them out. But at a minimum, you got to do these three things. And they call that a fee for service. Comes from the cafeteria plan where they would say, oh yeah, I want this and this and this, and the listing agent would go, okay, that's what we'll charge you. It was a fee for service or a cafeteria plan. Stop the audio.